The following podcast is presented by Blue Ridge Production.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unpacking the Occupation, the podcast where we help caregivers better understand the why behind their children's behaviors, emotions, and everyday challenges through an occupational therapy lens. I'm your host, Trina Esperante, an occupational therapy doctoral student and mom trying to figure it out alongside you. I am super excited for today's episode, more excited than I've ever been on any episode, because I get to have a conversation with probably one of my favorite people in the entire world ever, my husband. Javi is the best dad to our 4-year-old son and is probably his favorite person too.
I don't think I'm his favorite, but it's okay.
I am super thankful that he is joining us today to share his personal experience and challenges he's encountered with our son. So, I know we are both navigating this first time parenting with our son together, but I really want today's conversation to be all about your perspective as a dad, to his dad. And we're going to talk about some things that you've noticed as our son has grown, including his need to touch absolutely everything and the ongoing bathroom routine battle and his love for video games. So, we're also going to explore what might be happening underneath some of those behaviors and share some practical strategies that have helped us along the way. But before we jump in on any topics, I would love for you to tell everyone a little bit about our son.
He is a typical uh, 4-year-old boy, full of energy. Just gets up out of bed and is ready to go, full of gas, just 100% all the time, which is extremely tiring, but at the same time rewarding. It's been um, a gift to see him grow from uh, where he was being born a month early, having to leave him there in the hospital to see him where he is, and every milestone he reached early or maybe was a little bit late on a few. It's just been, um, a privilege, and I'm grateful to have got to experience that.
You guys can't see this, but I'm smiling super big right now because every time I hear Javi explain anything about our son, it's just pure love. So, going back, what are some of your favorite things about being his dad?
Every dad says this, but he is my mini me, like to the T, and it's very eerie. Seeing another person act like me. For example, we were at dinner earlier today, and I pulled my phone out and it gestured like a gun. What are you doing? You watching TV? And it's weird just seeing me in a mini version. It's I don't know. He's literally just my little shadow. I mean, outside my dog, who is my shadow, but she's a dog, obviously. It's weird to see another person act, talk, do things exactly like me.
I can't confirm that, guys. He is my husband's little mini me.
It's crazy.
And what's something about being his dad that has surprised you?
Every parent says this, but you'll never know love till you have a child. It's just the best. If you don't have any kids, highly recommend it. Struggles are worth it. This is the best rewarding things you can do as an adult.
I absolutely love that perspective. Um, and I think listeners are going to quickly understand why we wanted to have this conversation today and also understand the immense love that you have for him. But let's start with something that I think you say at least 10 times a day, which is look with your eyes and not your hands. So, one concern that you always talk about is how he's always needing to be touching something. What are some of the things that you've noticed he's always wanting to touch, explore, or get his hands on?
Everything.
Hmm.
For lack of a better word, everything. He cannot not touch. I mean, as you know, my favorite franchise is Jurassic Park. There's a scene in Jurassic Park 2 Lost World where Ian Malcolm is describing his, I guess, girlfriend to another character in the movie book, and he says she cannot not touch. He has to touch. She has to touch, and that is exactly he cannot not touch.
Yeah,
He can't see. I mean, granted, she's an adult. He's a kid. He wants to feel and use it. He's doing things for the first time. So that's different things. But it's him knowing when it is okay to touch and when not to touch.
yeah,
Um, Safety reasons, health reasons. You don't know what he is touching for the first time. Where it's just different things that could cause problems.
yeah. Yeah, I understand that too, and I get the frustration as well, especially when there's something that he's not supposed to be touching or, you tell him several times, "Do not touch," and I think so many parents can relate to that because sometimes it feels like children are just magnetically attracted to the exact thing we don't want them to be touching or even us telling them 1,000 times not to do it. I know you had mentioned, health-related concerns, but what concerns you most about that behavior?
Again, knowing what not to touch or where he should not.
Yeah, I understand your concern, and I know you've expressed that to me several times, and honestly, I think you've done a really good job helping our son understand boundaries and the difference between what's appropriate and what's not. Of course, it's going to take repetition, right? He's 4 years old, he's still learning, but I think you've done a really great job reminding him, redirecting him, and helping him understand those expectations. Have you found yourself responding differently now compared to when he was younger when it comes to keeping his hands to himself?
I don't think so. I'm still
Mhm.
having to tell him not to touch things, telling him when it's okay to touch things. But I mean, that's kind of my fault also. And that he's a lot like me, and I was very curious as a little kid.
Mhm.
So I guess I know what my mom and dad feel like now. Uh, I and luckily he's not exactly like me. He doesn't wander off. Hopefully, not yet. Unless it's with me, because I like to wander off.
I don't think he can
Um,
ever leave our side. He's
no,
always
but
right
that's
by our
why
side.
he'll be right next to us. But I mean, I'll wander off, and he'll probably wander off with me.
Yes, you
Um,
definitely do
but
wander
we'll be in
off.
the toys, so
I know where to find you in Target.
yeah, we know you know where we are. Um, But I mean, with that, saying that, going there, it's touching, looking at this toy, looking at that toy. I want this, I want that. Oh, let's. It's like, okay, no, it's okay. Look at that. See if you like that first. Okay, let's go look at this aisle. Go see the toys over there. No, let's come back to this aisle. It's knowing when it's okay. Can I see that one? Let me hold
Yeah.
it and then go to the next toy. Or that's kind of one thing I learned from my dad. Um, if you pick it up, or my mom also, if you want it, you grab it and let's go. So
Mhm.
that's something that they kind of taught me. You look with your eyes. At least I remember. That's how I remember. I don't remember, or I'll narrow it down to two. They give it to me. Which one do I want? Okay, mommy, put
Yeah.
this one back, or daddy, put this one back, and that's the ones that I would choose. I
Yeah.
wouldn't, get 5 or 6 toys like unfortunately we do. We kind of give them options. That's maybe our fault. Um,
Yeah.
but uh, he does grab a lot of things on his own. So,
Mhm.
but just I guess what we're trying to do is trying to narrow his or make him focus more on certain toys. That's why we give him more options than we probably should.
Yeah. Well, I can say, when children are presented with a lot of options, they can get very overwhelmed and they have a harder time deciding what they want when it comes to, in this case, toys, right? Even with food or, different items or just anything in general, too much of anything is very overwhelming. And
Yeah.
since right now he's in the age where he's still processing, his attention span is still being developed, right? His sustained attention, and his ability to be able to decipher or choose or depict, which one I want, is can be very challenging when he's presented with a lot of things. So the fact that you had mentioned, when you were younger, your mom and dad had, narrowed it down to 2 options. That's something that we can do, moving forward, right? To see if that helps him kind of close in on what he wants and limit his abilities to try to touch and, search for a specific toy. And also, one thing that I did learn in OT school is that children learn about the world through their senses, and that's through touching things, through smelling things,
Yeah.
through, all of these different senses. And some children are constantly moving, some children are climbing, touching, pushing, pulling, and exploring because
Sounds very familiar.
and because that's just how they gather information about their environment. And I know you just agreed that's exactly like our son. Um,
Mm.
and another thing that I learned through OT school is that some children seek out movement and hands on experience because that's how they get information about their bodies and the world around them. Occupational therapists call this proprioception, and it's our body's ability to know where we are in space and comes from the information in our muscles and our joints. And every time a child pushes, pulls, climbs, touches, or crashes into a pile of pillows, they're getting that information. So when I think about our son touching everything, right? I can't help to think that some of that curiosity may also be tied to his need to explore and experience the world through movement and touch. Can you think of a time where his curiosity got him into a very tricky situation?
I think it's a different type of tricky situation. Um,
Mm.
what about last week or 2 weeks ago at the T-ball game where he reacted and kicked gently younger nephew or younger nephew in the face? So hands and arms, hands and feet to yourself. That's kind of trying to instill that to him. But yeah, so that's something that he needs to know. I mean, grant I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. He's still young. He doesn't do this often to other kids. He kind of does react that way. But it's something that he does need to know
Yeah.
that he cannot do.
So you're thinking of more safe boundaries when it comes to other people around him.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I've noticed, he gets overly excited to where he can't contain his excitedness and he just has to let it all out.
yeah,
And I, you know, I know sometimes for some parents it can seem like he's too excited or he's being too difficult, but he's not trying to be difficult, right? He's just curious. He's just, a little boy. He's, trying to express his needs in a way that we can't understand and that he doesn't even understand at the same time. And sometimes that curiosity moves faster than safety.
yeah,
Um, and one strategy that you can implement or we can implement, right, as both his parents is just reminding him of the consequences of what happens if we accidentally kick our friends or if we accidentally kick or hurt our friends. And with that constant, reminder, right, and the constant narrative, it can click, I hope. um,
yeah. Hopefully,
yeah, but you do a really good job on, reminding him and telling him and making sure he takes accountability when he needs to take accountability and he learns from it. Whether it's, timeout or, setting a timer or, any other type of disciplinary action, I can see him on the track of being able to fully understand and comprehend what his actions are doing. So, shifting gears a little bit. One thing that I've always loved about you and our son's relationship is how active you guys are together. And I think I told you this. I don't know. I always tell you this. I love just seeing you guys interact and play and I don't know, it just warms my heart and it makes me love you guys even more. But you two are constantly wrestling, chasing each other, roughhousing. What do you think he enjoys most about those moments?
having someone to play with. That's one thing he's been kind of vocal about wanting a sibling. So uh that's just something. I mean, it's just what dads do. It's kind of like rite of passage, I guess you can say. Father beating up on son, older brother beating up on little brother.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, walking out pretending to be Hulk Hogan. I was a wrestling fan, so it's I would love him to watch him, like, get him into wrestling, but at the same time, he jumps on my head enough, so I don't think giving him ideas, as
Mhm.
to moves to do to me,
Or me, or me.
yeah, or you. He kinda practices on you more than me, but,
I know.
um, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's I probably enjoyed it just as much as he does.
Yeah, and I know, I mean, you are the only son in your family and you always wanted that to be like a big brother role. I know this role is completely different, but I know you call him your little buddy and just having these moments, I can imagine how, sincere and heartwarming it is. And just to have that bonding moment with our son, something that you two can just do together even though I somehow get into the mix of it, but I hope that it just
Yeah.
stays to you too. And also the fact that he just loves to do all of this roughhousing and, just physical play and movement play with you. It also um highlights the fact that he is just very safe around you. And I know back to where you had a fear of him kicking our littlest nephew, right? And I brought up the strategy of, you know, talking about boundaries, what's safe, what's not safe. It sounds to me that the benefits of roughhousing or wrestling with our son, provides this learning experience of boundaries. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it that way.
Who usually starts this?
Depending what day of the week it is, what time of the day, um, if he sees me coming, um, I think it's 50-50.
Yes, I agree. I think it's 50-50. And sometimes the wrestling like lands ends to me and I'm like, "Stop, go to your dad."
Yeah. Or
But
it's a tag team. I need a break.
oh my gosh. No, okay, I get it. Whatever. But honestly, I don't think I've ever seen 2 people spend more time, wrestling on the floor, throwing pillows, throwing blankets. Our son is obsessed with Mario, so he has these shells, these stuffy shells, and he
Oh, yeah,
throws
those
he
hurt.
he throws them at us, and he also has Goombas and all the bad guys, and he likes to throw them at us because he thinks that we're Bowser, and he's Mario. That's like but
And the Goombas aren't bad, but the mystery box, the shell, the star, what else? He has another one. I think the Bullet Bill has a voice box in there too, or maybe it's just hard because it's Bullet Bill, it's Bullet. I don't know.
but I know at the end of the day, we wouldn't want it any other way. We absolutely you're like, "I beg to differ."
They hurt.
But so the funny thing is, before OT school, I probably would have just looked at this, boys being boys, and I'm sure it is just boys being boys at some point. But I do see it a little differently, and I know I've expressed it to you as well. Um, when he's wrestling with you, climbing all over you or me, right, or asking to be chased or jumping on pillows, just wanting those really active games, he's actually getting a lot of movement and body awareness through those activities.
Mm.
Have have you noticed that sometimes after those play sessions, he seems calmer or more regulated or maybe even sleeps a little bit better?
Let's say sleeps, but it does take a long time. He has limitless energy,
Mhm.
I would say, but he will go to sleep faster if he is more active.
Mhm. That is true. Like, we had a really long day today, and he knocked out in what, 5 minutes?
Maybe about 15, which is really good because normally it takes him about 30 to 45.
And I do realize when before bedtime, if we do incorporate some type of movement-based play, like going to the park or running around in the living room or wrestling, right?
Or taking him,
He
let him ride the bike outside, it will be easier to put him to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah. And it's the way, like, our his nervous system works is that by adding and incorporating all of these active movement, exercises or activities, it's letting the body know, like, okay, like we've already got our energy out. It's time to, it's like an inner clock, right?
Right.
It tells us when, okay, this it's time to rest, to wind down, right? No more jumping, no more play fighting, whatever it may be. And many children benefit from these activities involving pushing, pulling, all of the things, right? Because they're getting information from their muscles and joints that helps their bodies understand where they are in space. And again, this is called proprioceptive input. And honestly, I think one of the things that you've done really well as his dad is just naturally incorporating those activities into your play with him. And you probably don't even realize it or didn't even realize it. Um, but you've been giving him these opportunities for movement all along. What are some of the things that you found helpful when he needs that extra movement?
Well, I guess I would say I pretend when he was younger, he was more into dinosaurs. I'd pretend that we're being chased by a dinosaur, or now it's by Bowser. I tried to get him
Mhm,
to be a little bit more active. Um, just trying to relate whatever I does me trying to get him tired to something that
mhm.
he likes, so it'll help him respond.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's been what is it? I can see when you do incorporate that because he does get sleepy faster. That's the goal.
That is the goal. Faster he goes to sleep, the more sleep I get.
Yes, yes, that's very true. All right. So let's talk about something that I know it drives me crazy. And it's also, raised some concerns for you. And that is the bathroom routine, specifically his hygiene once he's done going to the potty. What does the bathroom routine typically look like from your perspective when it comes to our son?
Um, home, restroom, go back to the plane. If we're lucky, we'll get him to wash his hands, and by wash, I mean turn the water on, insert tips of fingers, turn the water off, and that's it.
Yeah,
Um, if we're out and about, I do make him wash his hands with
yeah,
soap, dry and everything. He doesn't really like the automatic flushing. Well, the flushing he's gotten used to. Now it's more just the air dryer.
yeah.
He doesn't like that. Uh, he says it's too loud for his ears,
And
but it's just making sure he gets into the routine that if he's not home, maybe I mean we gotta get him to do it at home too, but just make sure to he needs to I mean, he's still small, but he needs to get into the habit. He'll be starting school next year. We gotta teach him these safety precautions.
yes, no, I completely understand. And going back to it starts at home, right? Getting
Yeah,
him to constantly let it be muscle memory at this point where he automatically flushes the toilet, goes wash his hands. And I know I've seen it where
that's
he's
gotten better
yeah, it has gotten better.
toilet
There are
wise.
yeah, toilet wise. But and I just want to note to everybody out there, our son does wash his hands after he goes to the restroom at home. It's just you know, the majority of the times us having to tell him go back and wash his hands. And we don't allow him to go back to what he was doing unless he washes his hands and finish that toilet routine. Okay. Well, how often do you find yourself reminding him to flush the toilet or wash his hands?
Probably once a day.
And then what usually happens? Like, does he forget? Does he rush through it? Does he get distracted?
He's rushing through. I think he just doesn't want to miss uh the video game or like take too long so he doesn't has more time to the video game or doesn't want to miss part of the show. He'll go and say pause, pause, pause so he doesn't miss the show or movie or whatever. So
Hmm.
I think that is a big reason why he does that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's, rushing to get out and just to finish his task because he's really focused in it. And I think that's really interesting because I know most of the time he knows exactly what he's supposed to do, right? He knows how to wash his hands, he knows how to flush the toilet. And it's not that he doesn't know those steps, it's more like his brain is already moving on to the next thing before he's finished the current one, which in this case, he's thinking about going back outside to play while he can't, focus on the current
Yeah.
task on hand, which is completing this toilet routine or this hygiene routine after the toilet routine. And I think a lot of adults can probably relate to that too. um, what do you usually say to him when he does skip a step?
I make him go back and do it all over again. It's just kind of how I was raised. If you're not gonna do something right, you're gonna do it all over again until you get it right. And when he gets older, I'll teach him to, take it one step at a time, relax, you'll be okay. If you miss something, it's just make sure you get your job at hand completed,
Mhm.
whether it's washing hands, whatever it may be that's in front of him.
Yeah. And have you found anything that works better than reminding him over and over again? I know we have a visual schedule, but from your perspective, what has your experience been with the other, you know, things to help remind him over and over again?
This one, I don't know. This one's kind of been a more difficult time getting him to do. I don't
Mhm.
know why. For here, again, at home, he washes his hands, but it's more just rapid. When
Mhm.
we are out and about in public, he will take the time to wash his hands, spit the bubbles, and make sure they're dry. But for whatever reason, here at home, he's uh
He just wants to go back to playing.
yeah.
Yeah, he just wants to go back to playing. And I think at this point, like, we have to remind him the playing will be there, but we have to wash our hands and just, constantly again remind him what happens if we don't wash his hands, right? And then how important it is for him to do that when he's, about to transition into big boy school.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that part of the challenge is that, like I said, he's just excited to go back to something, whether it's a toy, right, or video game. Here he is thinking about what's next. Another thing that I have learned throughout OT school is about executive functioning, and that's really just a fancy way of describing the skills that we use to plan, organize, remember steps, and just complete tasks. And for a lot of kids, those skills are still developing, like I've mentioned already, right? So even when they know they're supposed to do something, they may need that extra reminder or supports to help them follow through. One strategy that I often found myself using all the time during field work is the first then language. So it can look like first flush and wash your hands, then we can go play, or first bathroom, then Mario. Have you noticed that connecting the routine to something that he enjoys helps keep him motivated?
Yeah, actually, usually it's we tell him first food, then popsicle, or then like ice cream, something like that.
Hmm. Yeah. So I do know
Different
that.
example, but
Yeah, that's the same. That's a good example because he can really, that end piece, right, is kind of a reward. So first do the hard stuff and then we can go to the fun stuff. And I think he is understanding that concept very, very well. Um, and another thing that I've noticed is that sometimes when we turn it into a challenge or a game, he becomes very much interested. Like, for example, when we are needing him to pick up his toys, I like to
yeah.
we like to make it into a race or we set a timer, right? He is wanting that additional input or that I guess motivator to be able to encourage him to complete the task on hand. And sometimes children don't need more reminders, they just need a reason to care. And if we can make those routines more engaging, it can help them build those habits over time. If you can give one piece of advice to another parent who feels like they're constantly reminding their child to flush the toilet or wash your hands or to finish a routine, what would it be?
Um, Maybe break it down and tell them why it is important.
Mhm.
Make it easier or do it with them. Flush the toilet with them. Wash their hands with them till, okay, this time I'm going to help you next time. You do it on your own. And
Mhm.
then eat, sleep, repeat, kind of do that
Yeah.
to where they end up just doing it without you being there.
Yeah. I love that. In OT, we call that upgrading the task, going from something really easy to something hard. And in this case, you assisting him with washing his hand and then slowly backing away, right? Having him do it on his own, followed by drying his hands you know, and I think it's a very good reminder that learning routines also takes time. And as parents, we often repeat ourselves 1,000 times before those habits finally stick. And unfortunately, I don't think there's a shortcut around that. It's something that we have to
No.
continue to do.
Even as parents, we get lectured by our parents to this day.
I completely it's never ending. Parenting is always gonna happen whether you're 3 years old or 30 years old. It's gonna happen. Uh,
Yeah.
so, all right. I feel like we're both at fault for this next topic, but that is his love and interest for video games.
Yeah.
And from the top of your head, when did you realize he was so interested and so incredibly good at playing?
Um, Interested probably at the age of 2.
Mhm.
Good, uh, probably when we started letting him play, um, when the nephews came and he would smoke them in the
They're learning.
games.
They're learning. Can you tell us a little bit more about his interest in video games? I already know this answer, but what games does he enjoy the most?
Anything Mario, just in general, if it has a little Italian plumber with a mustache, he will give it a shot.
And to my listeners out there, he is so good. Like, me and my husband were just like, how does he get so good? I know we had downloaded what is it called? The Nintendo 64 version or the Nintendo,
The Super Nintendo, the NES,
yeah,
or
like the OG,
SNES.
like the OG Mario game. I think he
Well,
saw my husband, I don't know if it's OG, but I'm calling it the OG. The graphics were very pixelized,
it's
but
1990.
okay. But he saw my husband playing, I think maybe 1 or 2 times. He picked up the remote and he just, was able to at least, like, defeat 5 little Goombas on his own at the beginning, and now he's completing a bunch of levels on his own. It's
Yeah, he's
crazy.
beat a good, yeah.
It's really, really crazy. And, what what's something that he's done in a game, right, that's made you stop and think, "Wait a second, how did he figure that out?" I know we've had a lot of those moments.
There was one the other day, and I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but we were playing Super Mario Bros. And so on the old Switch, on the old control, I mean, from Super Nintendo, it was X, Y, X, Y, A, B, basic simple control. So you push one button, you can fly. Jump into the new control, the Switch control. It's same buttons, but they have different
Like, features?
features. Isn't the right word, but we'll go with features.
Mm.
So Super Nintendo X was jump, B was probably jump also, Y was I don't know
So just
duck, or X was fly.
so
But
more
now on
complex
the
control.
it's more complex. So
Mhm.
I have no idea how to fly, and somehow homeboy over there figured out how to fly. And
I know. I think he was, like, wall jumping, and I'm like, "How do you do that? How teach me." Like, I'm learning from him. I actually really love that because I do think a lot of people still picture video games as a mindless screen time, right? But when you actually watch children play, there's often a lot more going on. They're solving problems, making decisions, planning ahead, learning from mistakes, and sometimes they're doing things that honestly surprises us. Have there been any moments where you realized he was learning something through gaming?
problem solving, and not that he is a sore loser, but we're both trying to teach him to not take it too hard. You can always try again. Don't be too hard on himself for not beating the that level, or that scene in the game, or it's you can try again. It's just a game. It's not
Yeah.
that big of a deal.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of problem solving when he is playing those video games. I know there is one, I think, what game is it? Is it Jamboree? Where there's a mini game and there's a quiz that is one of the mini games, and he's gotten really good over time.
He's really lucky on that one.
Yeah,
He
he
pushes the
is.
same button, but he gets it right 99% of the time. I don't know how.
Yeah, and then there's also moments where he's also working on his memory, like all aspects of executive functioning skills, because when we replay levels, and we replay levels all the time, he like
He knows where those
he
the which mystery block will give you what
Mhm.
um what's it called? What are those things called?
Power-ups.
Power ups.
Yes, I agree.
Oh mommy, no, go back here and get this one. It's over here. It's like, okay, how do you know that?
It's crazy to see because then I'm like, again, you're 4 years old. How are you doing this, buddy? But I mean, you know, it's just amazing. They always say that kids around this age are just big sponges and they absorb everything, right? And they usually, like, majority of the times, they pick up the interests that their parents have interest in. And that's why I can confidently say that playing video games is definitely both our faults because we love to play video games. um, and do you think that gaming has influenced the way he approaches challenges or problem solving outside of the game? So, like in real world scenarios?
Well, I mean, just I guess there was one time where something broke, one of his toys,
Mhm.
and I have tools. His toy broke, so automatically his problem solving from the game was let me go get a tool to help fix. Or yet something broke, and he would automatically let me get a tool to help fix it because
Mhm.
he knows tools fix things, and it's just right away. And it was I was like, okay, we'll fix it. Let's go get um this or that. But it's just
Just being able to put like that, it's broken. But like two and two together, right? A
yeah.
tool equals fixing things. I completely understand, and I've seen that too, and I get so amazed. I'm like, "Okay, that was your first reaction, just, your first thought, let's fix this." And the fact that he initiates, getting the tool and saying, "Daddy, let's fix this together," is just really amazing. And one thing that, OTs often talk about is how children learn through meaningful activities. And for some kids, right, video games are one of those meaningful activities. I mean, you just mentioned that he problem solves and, you know, goes and gets a tool right away after one of his toys breaks. And I want it to be known, like, because these video games are a meaningful activity for him, it doesn't mean unlimited screen time, right? But it does mean that there can be value in the things that children enjoy. And in this case, is video games for our son. Um, Now, let's talk about the part that every parent is probably wondering about. How do you personally approach screen time when it comes to our son?
I've luckily we are very blessed.
Mhm,
He for a little while at first he would didn't want to put the games down, and
mhm,
every now and then he gets like that still. But for the most part, he'll play for about maybe 30 minutes, and then he'll be like, "I want to watch TV," but watch TV. It's really just background noise. He'll go and start playing with his toys.
mhm.
Um, that's usually when we start eating. Then he'll play again for another like 15 minutes. While the bathtub is getting ready for take a bath. And again, extremely luckily, we tell him to turn it off. He turns it off by and large, majority of the time, doesn't give us any issues.
Yeah,
Um, but I think that was kind of us being very firm in the beginning once we started letting him play games to,
yeah.
hey, we don't have to let you play games all the time. If you act that way, why are we going to let you play these games? There's no reason
Mhm.
for you to act like that. Um, that's just something that I think both of us were in agreement on, and letting being firm and nipping that reaction.
Yeah, and I also think, we do implement a lot of timers. Have you noticed that being really effective when it comes to giving boundaries for our son when it comes to playing video games or just screen time in general?
Well, yeah, screen time in general. Yes, I don't really use the timers anymore.
Mhm.
He's been fairly good when I tell him to stop. He'll stop.
Yeah,
If I have to put a timer, it's to okay, bath time, 10 minutes. Once he goes off in the bath, let's go.
yeah.
Um, that's kind of the only time I really put a timer now.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really use timers as much anymore. Um, so kudos to us for helping him with those transitions. But what do you think is the hardest part about getting him off the game when it is time to stop?
Knowing where he can pause.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Because sometimes he's in the middle of a race or in the middle of a jump. And he's like, wait, wait, wait.
Yeah, but level, you can save later or something. It's just knowing, okay, now stop.
Mhm.
I know we both do it. We're like, okay, we'll just beat this level and then turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that. Yeah, I agree. But the fact that he is able to distinguish where he can stop and he will stop is really good, sign to his ability to transition, right? Because when children are deeply engaged in something they enjoy, transitions can be super difficult. I mean, if someone were, to walk into the office, right, or walk in and just, told me to stop working on something I was excited about, I'd probably be a little frustrated too. But with our son, I know he's very good when it comes to the transitioning. And I think it's because we've been setting firm boundaries at the very beginning has been very, very helpful. One thing that I really like is giving children a heads up before the transition happens. Things like 5 more minutes or after this level, we're done, right? And I know you do a really great job with our son. And that just gives them enough time to mentally prepare instead of feeling like the activity was taken away unexpectedly. As he gets older, what are your hopes when it comes to gaming? I know we've had this conversation too.
Hopefully it'll transition into uh school and work and test related stuff. I mean not work, but like school work related stuff.
Uh-huh.
Knowing that these he's gonna when he's taking school exams, X amount of minutes left, he's know he has okay, have to finish this test in X amount of time. So that's kind of mentally preparing him for that.
Mhm.
Game wise, I mean, if you told me 20 years ago you could make six figures playing video games, I would have said, "Sign me up. I'll take this stuff serious."
Yeah.
But gaming is taking on its own lifestyle, I guess. Now, I mean, now it's insane where gaming has taken people.
Yeah. Do you hope that, this is just like a continuous hobby, or do you think this is something that you guys can do together and connect when he gets older?
I mean, Mario games, I think I can do, but like the games that I used to play that eventually I feel he will get into, like the modern warfares, the Halos,
Yeah.
first person shooters. I think those games, those days are behind me. Um, Unfortunately, uh,
Mhm.
but I think he might get some fun out of those games. Those games are amazing, but
Mhm.
we'll see once we cross that road.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping you guys get to play, some kind of game like that
I mean,
together.
I will school him in NCAA football, but
I love that because I think that's really what this comes down to, right? The goal isn't to eliminate the things for our children, or the goal isn't to eliminate the things our children enjoy, right? The goal is to help them build a healthy relationship with those activities while making sure there's still time for other important occupations in life, like playing outside, spending time with family, and just learning new skills. And honestly, I think you've done a really good job helping him find that balance. So, before we wrap up, I do like to leave my parents an OT tip of the day. And one thing that I've realized while talking today is that you've naturally incorporated a lot of sensory activities into the way you play with our son. The wrestling, the chasing, the roughhousing, all those count. And honestly, before OT school, I probably would have just looked at those activities as a way to burn off energy, but now I see them a little differently. So many of those activities provide something called what I've mentioned in this earlier on in this episode is that proprioceptive input, right? The information that
Mhm.
comes from our muscles and joints that just helps us understand where our bodies are in space. And for some children, that type of movement can be super powerful. So some of the things that we can continue to do, right, or in addition to the things we're already doing, are things like, animal walks, obstacle courses, jumping jacks, carrying groceries into the house, wheelbarrows, playing keepy uppy from Bluey, right?
Yeah, he'll love that.
Yeah. And for parents listening, these activities count too. So sometimes when we hear the word sensory activities, we automatically think we need special equipment or expensive sensory toys. But often, some of these best sensory experiences happen naturally through play, movement, and connection. So if your child seems like they're constantly moving, touching everything, climbing on furniture, right? Crashing into pillows, try building a few movement breaks into their day. You might be surprised on how much of a difference those small moments of movements can make. So, Javi, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your help. Um, Best Husband Award goes to you. And I just appreciate you taking the time to share your experiences and perspective as a dad to our son.
Well, as I say at Chick-fil-A, it was my pleasure.
Oh my gosh. Um, and honestly, I think a lot of parents are going to relate to what you shared today, right? Whether it's navigating endless curiosity, trying to build independence with daily routines, or even figuring out how to balance screen time, I think your perspective is going to resonate with a lot of families. So thank you again for being here. And thank you so much for being an incredible dad to our son.
And thanks for being a wonderful mom.
You're gonna make me cry. And thank you to everyone listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the podcast and share it with another caregiver who might benefit from today's conversation. And remember, every behavior tells a story, every occupation has meaning, and sometimes all we need to do is just slow down and unpack it. Join me in the next episode to unpack the why behind the behavior. Mahalo!